In 1360, Liu Bowen, while at home, received an invitation from Zhu Yuanzhang and became his key advisor. The relationship between Zhu Yuanzhang and Liu Bowen resembled that between Liu Bang and Zhang Liang, or Liu Bei and Zhuge Liang. Though not related by blood, they held each other in high regard, forming a golden partnership. However, despite Liu Bowen's unwavering loyalty, Zhu Yuanzhang later harbored a grudge against him. When Liu Bowen was invited, Zhu Yuanzhang was in dire straits. While Zhuge Liang once said he accepted a command that in times of defeat and received orders that in times of peril, Liu Bei's situation was perhaps somewhat less precarious than Zhu Yuanzhang's. Zhu Yuanzhang's capture of Yingtian that officially marked his entry into history. But those already in power did not welcome his arrival. Zhu Yuanzhang's capture of the strategic city of Yingtian from the Yuan army that made the Yuan forces to the north see him as a formidable opponent. Chun Yuliang in the south also coveted Yingtian, but Zhu Yuanzhang had beaten him there first, leaving Chun Yuliang furious. Furthermore, there were forces like Zhang Shisheng, who, while not as powerful as Chun Yuliang, were nonetheless powerful enough to overwhelm Zhu Yuanzhang. At this point, Zhu Yuanzhang was under attack from both sides, and his decision to break through or face defeat depended entirely on his own decisions. It was clearly unreasonable for Zhu Yuanzhang to shoulder such a crucial decision alone, so he urgently needed counsel from his advisors. The strategy proposed by Liu Bowen that proved crucial to Zhu Yuanzhang's future ascension to the throne. Given the prevailing situation, Liu Bowen first advised Zhu Yuanzhang that avoid fighting on two fronts. Zhu Yuanzhang's enemies were numerous and powerful, and he needed to prioritize his priorities. Sending troops to both fronts simultaneously would have been unnecessarily risky. Thanks to Liu Bowen's advice, Zhu Yuanzhang successfully navigated this difficult situation, first defeating Chun Yuliang in the south and then eliminating smaller factions like Zhang Shisheng. After securing half of the territory, Liu Bowen offered Zhu Yuanzhang another strategy. By this time, Zhu Yuanzhang's power that was comparable to that of the Yuan court, and it was time to consider establishing a new dynasty and becoming emperor. If it weren't for the young Ming king Han Liner, Zhu Yuanzhang's ascension might have been much smoother. However, Han Liner was a veteran in the fight against the Yuan army, and Zhu Yuanzhang had once been his subject. Even though Zhu Yuanzhang was now powerful, he was still nominally Han Liner's vassal, and rebellion against his superiors was unacceptable. To help Zhu Yuanzhang escape this predicament, Liu Bowen advised him to break away from Han Liner and establish his own faction. Zhu Yuanzhang, the founding emperor of the Ming dynasty, enjoyed widespread fame, but it wasn't entirely positive. It could even be considered infamous. To consolidate the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang executed numerous meritorious officials. While this stabilized his power to a certain extent, it also caused his reputation to plummet. He rose from the ranks of the emperor, a role model and idol to all. Yet, in his later years, he mercilessly murdered the very officials who had helped him conquer the country. This is truly lamentable. Cliques within the court were always considered deplorable. Yet Zhu Yuanzhang's fellow townsmen, known as the Huaishi nobles, remained oblivious to this. It was this group of Huaishi nobles that forced Zhu Yuanzhang to take tough measures against officials. And those ultimately punished were mostly members of their own faction. Liu Bowen, unwilling to join this clique, was naturally ostracized by those within it. However, Zhu Yuanzhang placed great trust in Liu Bowen, and after handing over government affairs to Li Shanchang, he entrusted him with judicial power. Liu Bowen had no intention of stirring up trouble, but he would not tolerate anyone who crossed his path. Li Shanchang had a nephew named Li Bin, who was convicted of selfishness and indulgence of his subordinates, and was legally punishable by death. However, Li Shanchang doted on his nephew, and to save his life, he visited Liu Bowen with gifts. Liu Bowen, determined to enforce the law impartially, felt compelled to honor Li Shanchang, so he wrote a letter and secretly presented it to Zhu Yuanzhang. Zhu Yuanzhang immediately decreed the execution. With this decree, Liu Bowen, unfettered, executed Li Bin during a rain-praying ceremony. Upon learning of this, Li Shanchang was furious, but Liu Bowen, with Zhu Yuanzhang's decree in hand, could do nothing. However, from that moment on, a feud began between the two men. A few days later, the rain Liu Bowen had prayed for did not arrive. Li Shanchang seized the opportunity, claiming that Liu Bowen's murder at the altar had angered the gods, forcing them to withhold rain. Zhu Yuanzhang confronted Liu Bowen, who offered a new theory. The gathering of the widows of fallen soldiers had caused a surge of negative energy, hindering the rain. As long as the captured soldiers were incorporated into the military households, their yang energy would balance the yin energy, and rain would naturally fall. Zhu Yuanzhang did as he was told, but 10 days passed, and still no rain fell. Zhu Yuanzhang demanded that Liu Bowen bring rain within 10 days, or he would be executed. On the 9th day, Liu Bowen carefully observed the celestial phenomena and confirmed that it would not rain. He then entered the palace to meet Zhu Yuanzhang. He feared that if he did not come beforehand, Zhu Yuanzhang would come the next day and it would be too late. Upon entering the palace, Liu Bowen knelt and wept bitterly upon seeing Zhu Yuanzhang. Startled, Zhu Yuanzhang quickly helped Liu Bowen up and asked what had happened. Liu Bowen explained that he had been a scholar for half his life, always proud of his vast knowledge. But today, while writing, he had forgotten a single word. Overwhelmed with shame, he had come to the emperor for guidance. Zhu Yuanzhang burst into laughter. assuming Liu Bowen had encountered something catastrophic. With a wave of his hand, he asked Liu Bowen which character he couldn't write. Liu Bowen answered, "She got meaning to kill without pardon." Zhu Yuanzhang replied, "It's simple. I write it every day." That he then wrote the character, she, Liu Bowen, without pause, simply thanked the Lord for his grace and returned home, leaving Zhu Yuanzhang perplexed. 10 days passed, and with still no rain, Liu Bowen was arrested and imprisoned. At this point, Liu Bowen couldn't explain himself, claiming it had rained when it hadn't, so he was immediately taken to the execution ground. As the imperial guards arrived to take Liu Bowen away, he pulled a piece of paper from his pocket, and showed it to the officials. They saw a single, large Shi character, indicating Zhu Yuanzhang had pardoned Liu Bowen.